If you've spent some time learning about investing online, you've probably noticed that everyone seems to have a different opinion or a different order on where your money should go. You might hear one person tell you to go max out your 401k first, and that would be me. Someone else says the Roth IRA is the GOAT account and you should do that first. Then you might hear another person telling you your taxable brokerage account is actually the best because it gives you the most flexibility. Before long, you're sitting there wondering if you're investing correctly at all, and you may be second guessing your decisions. A huge part of building wealth is deciding where your money goes before it's even invested. The account you choose can affect your taxes, when you can access that money, and the benefits that come with it. Also, you're going to see me in this gameplay get rage baited a bit playing MW2, and the sweats like this are the exact reason I like playing MW3 and Black Ops 2 right now. I just feel like I can't keep up with the competition level with the guys that are still playing MW2. So stay tuned for this video because I start getting rage baited and I said enough is enough. So I started playing like an absolute noob. Over the years, I've put together a system that works well for me. It's by far not the only way to do it, and I don't want everyone just to blindly copy mine exactly because everyone's lives are different. But today, I want to walk you through why I invest in the specific accounts that I do, why I prioritize them in the order that I do, and how each account fits into my overall financial plan. And if you like the way I invest, then take this video as a blueprint to how I've built my wealth and you could take a similar path. Obviously, I'm not a certified financial advisor. I'm a 27-year-old engineer who has learned by experience and learned from videos like these. So I'm excited to make a video like this one. When you understand the purpose behind each account, investing starts to feel a whole lot simpler. You can build a strategy that actually aligns with your goals, your lifestyle, and the future you're trying to create. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I structure my investments and the reasoning behind every decision, whether you're just getting started or you've already been investing for years. Hopefully this gives you a framework that helps you think through your own investing strategy with a little bit more confidence. Before I get into each account individually, let me show you the order that I personally invest. First, I contribute enough to my 401k to get the full company match, and my company match matches 6%, which is awesome because that's essentially free money as long as you meet the vesting requirements. And for me, that was 3 years with the company, which I've already achieved. After that, I max out my HSA every year, then I max out my Roth IRA, and finally, anything left over goes into my taxable brokerage account. That's been my investing hierarchy for several years now, and overall, it's worked incredibly well for me and helped me build a tremendous net worth. Now, if you've watched some of my recent videos, you know my thinking has evolved a bit over time. When I first got serious about investing, my mindset was very simple: invest as much as humanly possible. So beyond just getting the company match, I continued increasing my 401k contributions year after year until I was maxing them out. Looking back, I don't regret that decision at all. In fact, it's one of the reasons my retirement accounts have grown as much as they have at my relatively young age. Those aggressive contributions during my early 20s gave me a huge head start that will continue compounding for me for decades. At the same time, as I've gotten older, my goals have expanded beyond simply accumulating the largest retirement balance possible. Retirement is still important to me, but so are some of the major life events that will be happening long before I'm 60 years old. My fiance and I would like to save for our wedding, save for a future kid fund, so we can have a nice nest egg to pull from when she stays at home. We would like to buy a house at some point. Ultimately, we'd like to build flexibility into our lives and create options that aren't locked away behind retirement account rules and age requirements. This is kind of our near-term goals. And because of that, pretty much starting last week, I'm shifting some of my focus away from maximizing every available retirement account and towards building up my short-term savings so that I can support these goals as they come up. Going forward, I expect I'd likely scale down my 401k contributions closer to the company match while continuing to max out my Roth IRA every single year, and also maxing out my HSA every single year. The difference will be directed towards specific cash savings goals and continued investing into my taxable brokerage account. For me, this is not a decision to invest less. It's a decision to invest differently. The years of aggressively funding my 401k have already put me in a strong position for retirement, and now I'm trying to find the balance between taking care of my future self and funding the life I want to live over the next 5 to 10 years. Before I break down each account one by one and why I invest in them, I think it's important to understand the reason these accounts exist in the first place. Your 401k, your HSA, your Roth IRA, and taxable brokerage accounts are really just different containers that hold your investments. The actual investments inside of them might be identical, and they kind of are for me. I can own the exact same S&P 500 index fund in my 401k, my Roth IRA, my HSA, and my taxable brokerage account. The difference isn't what I'm investing in. It's how these investments are treated from a tax perspective and when I can have access to that money without taking penalties. When I look at an investment account, I'm really asking myself three questions. First, what tax advantages does this account give me? Second, how flexible is the money if I need it before retirement? And third, what restrictions or drawbacks come along with these benefits? Every account is essentially a trade off between taxes and flexibility of when you can use that money. Generally speaking, the bigger the tax advantages, the more restrictions you're going to have on when you can pull out that money without additional taxes or penalties. Understanding that concept alone makes choosing accounts much easier because you stop thinking in terms of which accounts are the best and start thinking in terms of which accounts best supports my long-term financial goals. Take the 401k for example. The biggest advantage is obvious. You receive a tax deduction on your taxable income today for your pre-tax 401k. Your investments grow tax deferred for decades. And if your employer offers a match, that's free money on top of whatever else you're putting in. And I talk about match all the time, but a company match is just your employer stating that if you put in a certain percentage of your paycheck into your 401k, they will match dollar for dollar up to a certain percentage. So my company matches 6%. I can put up to 6% of my salary into my 401k, and the company will put an additional 6% on top of that for absolutely free. Now, I talked about earlier, you do have to hit vesting periods for most of these 401k matches, which means you have to stay employed for that company. And for my situation, it was stay employed for 3 years, and all that company match is now mine. If you were to leave before 3 years, they would theoretically take that money back. You just kind of have to look at the fine details there. That's an incredible combination, and one of the reasons I still prioritize getting every dollar of the company match available to me. And the cool thing too is that there's a Roth 401k, which means you can pay taxes now on your contributions and then they grow tax free, just like a Roth IRA, but it's in your 401k. And you have so much more money to contribute into this one compared to your Roth IRA. So if you really wanted to go all in on the Roth strategy combinations, you can max out your Roth 401k and max out your Roth IRA. But all of those great benefits I just talked about come with strings attached. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, the money is locked away until the retirement age of 59 and a half. In some cases, there are limited investment options compared to traditional taxable brokerage accounts. And if you become too aggressive with maxing out your retirement contributions at an early age, you can find yourself extremely wealthy on paper while simultaneously having very little cash savings available for goals that happen way before retirement. And that's almost a situation that I found myself in today. That's why I made a whole video about where I think I'm oversaving too much for retirement. That's something I've started thinking about more and more as I've gotten into my late 20s. Having a huge retirement account is great, don't get me wrong on that. But if you want to buy a home, start a family, create flexibility before the age of 60, you might need money that's actually accessible as well. This year, you can contribute $24,500 into your 401k, and that is not including the company match. Then there's the HSA, which is probably my favorite investing account. This account gives you tax benefits all the way through. You get a tax deduction now when you contribute, the money grows tax free, and you can pull it out tax free and use it on anything past the age of 65. And qualified medical withdrawals, all in the meantime, are tax free. So, my goal here is to grow this account as fast and as much as possible while I'm healthy and don't really have any big medical expenses. And then, when I do need the medical money, I'll have hundreds of thousands of dollars in this account later down the road, all tax free. So, there's a ton of pros here. But the downside, of course, is that these benefits are tied to healthcare expenses before the age of 65, and you have to be enrolled in a qualified high deductible health plan, and not every employer offers this. And if you use the money for non qualified expenses before retirement age, you'll face taxes and penalties. Overall, though, I love the HSA. This year, you can contribute up to $4,400, not including the company match. Now, onto the Roth IRA. I love the Roth IRA because it gives me something many other accounts don't. It gives me certainty. I pay the taxes today, and I contribute with after tax dollars, and then every dollar of that future growth in that account can be withdrawn tax free in retirement. Nobody knows what tax rates will be 30 or 40 years from now. Nobody knows how tax laws might change. But when I contribute to a Roth IRA, I'm essentially locking in today's tax rate and removing a huge burden and a huge amount of uncertainty from my future so that I don't have to pay taxes on the gains in this account. Another advantage is flexibility. Your Roth IRA contributions can actually be withdrawn without taxes or penalties, but just the contributions that you're putting in, which kind of makes the Roth IRA more accessible than many people might realize. The downside, though, is obvious. Again, you don't receive a tax deduction today, and this account gets locked up till retirement age. Every dollar that goes into the Roth IRA is money that you've already paid taxes on and you cannot access for decades, which can be harder to stomach when you're trying to maximize your current cash flow. And finally, there's the taxable brokerage account, which I think becomes more attractive the longer you invest. At a first glance, it's really the least exciting account because it doesn't offer any tax advantages. There's no upfront deduction, there's no tax free withdrawals, there's no government incentives here. On paper, it looks super inferior to almost every retirement account available. And you'd ask yourself, why would I even invest in something like this? But when it lacks tax benefits, it makes it up for flexibility. There are no contribution limits. There are no age requirements to pull this money out. There are no withdrawal penalties. You just have to pay the taxes on your gains. And if I decide I want to use this money at age 35, 40, 50, whatever it is, it's available to me. I just have to sell my investments and take that money out. That flexibility becomes incredibly valuable once you've built a strong retirement foundation, because this is what I'm going to use for an early retirement. A taxable brokerage account can really help fund this early retirement. It can supplement income maybe during a career transition. It can provide a down payment for a home if you really wanted to go that route. Or it can just simply give you options that retirement accounts don't provide. The trade off is that you're going to pay taxes along the way, but sometimes flexibility is worth it, more than that perfect tax efficiency. That's really the framework I use when deciding where my money goes. I weigh all those pros and cons of each account, and like I said earlier, my priorities for the last 4 years have been HSA, 401k, Roth IRA, and then my taxable brokerage account. It's still going to be that way, but I'm just going to limit the amount of money I'm putting into my retirement accounts and probably up my cash savings and up my traditional brokerage account. I'm not trying to find the perfect account because there isn't one. They all have their pros and they all have their cons. Every account solves a different problem and comes with different strengths and weaknesses. What I'm going to do is I'm trying to build a system where each account plays a very specific role. My 401k helps secure my traditional retirement. My HSA helps me take advantage of some of my best tax benefits available and future medical expenses. My Roth IRA gives me tax-free growth and future certainty. And my taxable brokerage account provides flexibility and options for the decades I need before retirement. When those accounts work together, they create a portfolio that's not only focused on building wealth, but also on supporting the life I want to live along the way. So that's all I have for this video. Let me know down in the comments how you organize your money when you get paid and what accounts are your favorite to invest in. Thank you to everyone who supports this channel, and I really love the community that we're building here. As always, I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.